You did it.
Can you hear me?
You're a little robot-y.
My
Yeah, it's not great.
great.
It's what happens when you go to the middle of nowhere.
No, I just got here and I don't know, the phone's working so much. I'll be right back.
You could always keep the video on and then call in for audio. That might be better.
Let me see how I do that. Chris, can you hear me? You can? Okay.
That's much better.
All right, awesome. I'm using my landline.
You have a landline. That's cool.
Yeah. I had to buy a cordless phone because, and I was like, where do I buy a cordless phone? So that's great.
At a
Sorry,
thrift
guys.
store. At a Staples going out of business.
I know. Going out of business now. All right. So yeah, Amanda, do you mind sharing the agenda and we can just run through it?
Mm-hmm.
And you and Chris can do the intros and most of the talking since I'm on my landline.
I think you did this on purpose.
But you did the test.
I guess I can just I'll just share the email.
I was trying to figure out a way to, I got some feedback from Jason V about creating the email in this format instead of the flyer because it becomes responsive and people can copy and paste and read it on any screen size versus the flyer, you know, it's kind of static and you have to like pinch in and zoom and you can't like click on stuff. But then it's kind of double work to do a flyer. So I'm brainstorming ways to try to get around that. And I think for now it's okay because we're not printing flyers and we're not
printing, yeah,
distributing them.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's like nice for social media and other things to have something like that.
Yeah. Hi, Chase. Hey, Vivek. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Amanda, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, glad to be here. A couple doors down from you.
I was on mute, sorry. I was talking and then realized I'm on mute.
I feel like we're so far along in this and people are still doing that.
That's a nice background, Amanda. Where are you?
My fake office.
Hey, Nick.
I have multiple fake offices. I like to switch them around.
Yeah.
I got your text. I'll get back to you.
No worries. Yeah.
So like, I'm playing the long game with everybody, including Amanda. Like 1 week between emails.
I was just as bad, so it's totally
Yeah,
fine.
Jen is here, right?
Jen is, but she's having some internet difficulties and is currently on a landline. Should we get started? Wait 2 more minutes. Jen, you're on mute.
Yes, I think so. Let's see. Let me text her.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I was saying maybe like 2 more minutes.
Perfect.
How's everyone doing tonight? Getting ready for the snow? More snow?
I'm stuck.
How
What
much
do you
more
mean
are we
you're
supposed to get?
I don't know. I
I
thought like
can't.
a couple inches. 4 inches maybe? 3 inches?
Historically horrible at watching the weather, which is not my strongest, not one of my worst habits. So thanks for the heads up.
It's not usually that accurate anyway, so I don't know that it matters. All right. Amanda and Chris, you think we should get started? It's 5 after.
Sure.
All
I
right.
guess I can't see how many people when I'm sharing the screen. How many people are on it? Seems like not that many, right?
12.
Oh, that sucks. Sorry if you hear a crying baby in the background.
All right.
We can get started.
Yeah, I'll get started, and if my connection drops out, Amanda and Chris, if you can jump in, if you don't mind. But good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining the February 2021 UFCA meeting. I'm Jen Tran, president of UFCA. It's nice to see a lot of familiar faces tonight, and welcome if it's your first meeting. I'll run through the agenda really quickly, and then, we have a great community spotlight tonight. I saw Officer Kiefer is here to give us our safety report. If this is your first time joining, feel free to jump in anytime with questions. You can unmute yourself. Otherwise, please keep yourself muted if you're not speaking. You can also always drop questions or comments in the chat, and we will take it from there. So the agenda for tonight's meeting, just wanted to welcome everybody. We'll run through some quick updates before we jump into our community spotlight with Stone's Beer and Beverage, who's also awesome Francisville, business owners and residents. And then we have some committee updates. And then since we don't have any zoning projects tonight, we'll just leave some time for some general community discussion. We've allotted some time in previous meetings for that, and it's been pretty awesome. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions for future community spotlights and other ideas for the community, we'd love to hear it. So with that, my quick reminder for everybody is that we have an upcoming vice president election next month. The second Wednesday in March is when we will meet. If you're interested in running for vice president, that was my previous role. I'm happy to talk to you about it. We have a vacancy since Darlene Cerullo moved out of the community, and I was voted in as president last month. So it's a 2-year term, not too much work, just kind of assisting the officers here with some of the work that it takes to volunteer to keep UFCA running really smoothly. We just need you to submit your 150-word bio statement to info@unitedfrancisville.com by Monday, February 15th. We just need a couple days to reconcile any of the bio statements that we receive, and then we'll send it out to the community at least 2 weeks before the March meeting, so that you get to know the folks running for vice president. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to talk to you about it. We'd love to have some awesome new community members running for that role. And if no one has any questions, I wanted to allot some time. Vivek Tomar is our zoning chair, and he just wanted to address the community with a message.
Hey, Jen, thank you so much for starting. I think I wanted to thank Jen and Chris and Amanda and everybody else. I think I've been doing this since the very onset of UFCA, and it's kind of like bittersweet. I have gotten more responsibilities at work, and I'm not sure what my plans in terms of like staying in the neighborhood in the next few years. So I wanted to announce that another incredible position from UFCA is going to be coming available, and that's the zoning chair, and it's a great position. I will continue to keep supporting the UFCA zoning position as a volunteer, but I think we have set up a very good basically system to have all the things streamlined and everything done in a fashion that actually like anybody that will come in, they will hit the road running. There will not be any issues. It's a pretty fun job because you get to learn a little bit about development. You get to see and meet people who are developing within your community, and you get to keep a check on them in terms of what they promise versus what they're doing. So I think it's a very important role. Jason, or the original chair, did an incredible job in putting all the systems together. Jason and I worked together, and Jason got more responsibility. So I'm actually really happy to let you guys know that we need new fresh ideas, which was the UFCA how it was based on. So please apply next month. We'll have the UFCA zoning chair application, and I'll continue to remain as a volunteer, and Jason will if anything is needed, will remain as a volunteer. The only thing that I'm happy to talk to anybody who's interested in, but I'll give like a 2-second recap of what happens is somebody that applies for zoning, somebody that applies for development, if their development does not agree with the current zoning code, they get a refusal. That refusal comes back to the community group, and the community group they present to the UFCA zoning committee, and zoning committee guides them based on what previously has happened on the community's feedback. And from that point onward, they present it to the community, and the community says yay or nay. And we have a very standardized voting and ticketing process, and we continue to keep it very simple. So it's not that much of a work. It's a great opportunity to learn. So I'm happy to help anybody who is the next zoning chair, help them out and guide them through the process. So yay to new faces.
Well, thanks, Vivek. You have contributed a ton to getting UFCA off the ground a couple years ago with some other community members, and I know that we couldn't have gotten to where we are today without your hard work and dedication, and I'm really happy to hear that you're still going to stay on to volunteer and make the transition really smooth. But zoning chair is a really critical part of what makes UFCA an awesome organization, and a big reason why people come to our meetings to hear some of the zoning projects and variances that are happening in the community. So, that means that in addition to the vice president role being up for election next month, we're also going to be recruiting for a zoning chair which we did change in our bylaws the last time around, that position is no longer appointed by the president, but it is actually elected by the community. And we just wanted to do that for sake of transparency, to make community voices heard. So if anyone is interested in learning more about zoning chair, please get in touch with Vivek. We also would love to get your 150-word bio statement by February 15th. I know that's only less than a week away. It's Monday, but you can email that information over. And I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions about the upcoming election or anything regarding vice president role or zoning chair before we move on? All right, great. And before we jump into the community spotlight, I did want to just give our secretary and treasurer a quick moment if they wanted to just say hi to the community tonight.
Hey guys, I'm Chris, treasurer. Nice to see everybody.
Hi, I'm Amanda, secretary. Nice to see everybody.
Amanda, do you want to introduce Stones?
Sure. Wait, I put away your little bio.
I can just do it if you want.
No, I want to do it.
Okay.
So we have Nick with us today, who's actually my neighbor, and he is the owner of Stone's Beer and Beverage Market at 1701 Fairmount Ave. The beer store has been there since 1955, but they just bought it in April of 2019. And he's going to explain a little bit of the new cool stuff that they've been doing. And yeah, go for it, Nick.
Cool, thanks. And thanks so much for the invite, everybody. All right, so yeah, the store's been there since 1955, which was actually really hard to find out, but we were very glad to figure it out eventually because it's such an anchor on Fairmount Ave. I mean, way before this side of Fairmount Ave was, you know, anywhere where we wanted to walk down, the store had been there. So it's pretty cool to be a part of a legacy business in the neighborhood. Amanda gave me a little bit of a guide on like what I should talk about today. So I'm gonna do my best to do that in probably like 5 to 6 minutes and then just open it up because I'm sure lots of you know about the store and maybe have questions. So yeah, purchased in 2019. It took us about 18 months to make the purchase. Very long process. The previous owners had owned it for 10 years and they had been through several rounds with other potential buyers who just weren't able to like get it done. I totally know why they weren't able to get it done because the previous owners, the people I bought it off of, or people that my wife and I bought it off of, we own it together. They just like were not ready to sell it. They were ready in their mind, but the books were just a mess. There was a ton of legwork to do. So we were able to put in that work over those 18 months, and luckily we were able to close the deal in April of 19. Just a quick aside, for those of you who don't know, my wife is Jen Wendowski. We own the yoga studio across the street from Stone's as well. It's called Yoga Habit. There's no sign outside. There's a little decal on the door, but it's in the AF Barno building on the second floor. There's a big words that say security elevator. So that's Yoga Habit. That's catty corner from Stone's. So we own 2 businesses on Fairmount Ave. Super, super proud of that. Like we love being business owners in the neighborhood. Amanda said we live a couple houses down from her, like 4 houses down. We're in that we live here. Our kids, well, one kid is too young to go to school, but the other one goes to Mi Casita, which is right on Ridge. We have no plans to move. So this is like super cool for us. We feel so lucky to own 2 businesses on Fairmount Ave. Okay, cool. So that's a little bit about us and like when we got the store. So yeah, we have over 1,000 different products, everything from beer, obviously, hard seltzers, which is like, you know, if you guys have never heard of a hard seltzer, you're under a rock. There's just a million hard seltzers right now, but big part of the store is the hard seltzer market now, hard ciders, mixers, and lots of little snacks and stuff in between. So yeah, basic beer store, like in its outlook and like kind of like what Philadelphia beer stores are. or like have always been, but we are truly trying to make that different. Now, like the physical aspects of the store, yeah, there's a fence outside and there's metal gates and all that. That's hard to change. But the services and like the products and selection and just the general feel of the store, we have really focused hard on not just falling into like what every Philadelphia beer store, what you've known those Philadelphia beer stores to be, which are typically like not clean, like dusty products on the shelves. I mean, if anybody's been in a beer store in Philadelphia, like a true beer distributor, you must know what I mean, because I was in them my entire life, and they're just like, it's just incredibly underwhelming. So we've been working really hard on like just getting the basics of retail kind of like installed into the store, like having prices on all of the products, basic stuff, right? Cleaning things, taking down the bulletproof glass, having friendly staff, being able to call us or contact us online, seeing inventory online. Like honestly, and I say this not in a braggadocious way, there's literally like not another beer store in the city where you can just go onto their website and see their entire inventory. Like we felt like that was like such a normal thing when it comes to like retail. Like if you go on like Lululemon's website, yeah, you can like buy a shirt. It's in the store if you really want to go get it. So we just thought it should be the same thing for beer. And we've been working really hard to like make that conversion. COVID definitely helped that to happen, like lit a fire because so many people needed beer delivery once COVID hit. So we hired 5 photographers. They took pictures of every single beer in the entire store over like a 4-day period, like working like 3 different shifts, 6 a.m. to like 2 p.m., 2 to 8, and then like 8 to 12. We bought like a little photo booth. We take all the products that are on the website. We take them all in store. So like we're just trying to like make it modern, even though like the guts of the store are still old. The store is very old physically. We really feel like we're doing our best to make it a modern buying experience. So that's kind of been like one of the bigger trends of the store in general, is like the basics of retail, like just make people understand they can buy beer here and they know the price of it and it's fair and it's like flat margins across the board. We're not like gouging or, we're not underselling ourselves. It's like very fair. And it feels like a place where you can go and, you're going to find, if you walk out of there and don't find something you like, it's like, I have to talk to you. There's like so many beers in there. There's so many products in there that we think like the selection is one of the best in the city. The service is really strong. And, our people are really wonderful. Our team is really wonderful. So a little bit about the team. When we bought the store, we had 2 employees. So 2 people plus the old owners were the only people that worked in the entire store. We now have 22. So in 22 months, we've gained 20 employees. Now there's been a lot of like up and down, a lot of transient, growing pains of hiring, firing, things like that. But we have an amazing crew now. There will always be some come and go, I'm sure, but like the core of our team right now has been with us for the, almost the length of the entire, as long as the store's been there, under our care. So 90% of the staff live within the 3 neighborhoods surrounding us. So they either live in Francisville, Fairmount, or Spring Garden. The other 10%, which is like, 2 people, they live in like Southwest Philly. And they were the 2 folks that worked at the store previously. So we hired pretty much everybody from the neighborhood. And it kind of just worked out that way. I mean, obviously I love that. I think who's going to debate wanting to hire from the neighborhood? But it's just kind of like worked that way. People want to be able to walk to work. A lot of them are young and they're kind of cutting their teeth at Stones, which is cool for them because it's a relatively casual environment. But I have a corporate background, so I'm bringing all this like process and professionalism to like the emails they write and, just how to run a project, things like that. So it's surprising for a lot of folks that have started at the store because most folks, you look at the beer store and you think, yeah, okay, it's the job I have in college. I get paid a couple bucks an hour. I'll stock the shelves. I mean, we have a social media manager, we have an inventory manager, we have a supply chain specialist, we have a marketing, a web and SEO manager. We have a merchandising manager who runs the whole floor. We have several administrators who have a wide variety of tasks. We have a delivery operations manager. He's just in charge of all delivery operations. Like it's a legit it's a legit business now. I had no idea it would become that. Like, I think when we first took it over, it was like, I was like everybody else, just entrepreneur, just trying to figure it out. If you saw me in the first 6 months, like, I probably don't remember you. It was just a complete blur. I was just like sleeping on the floor in there and not seeing my wife, not seeing my kids, but it's like come such a long way. And really it's because of that team. It's because of the people that work at the store. They are like, they're just incredible. They're so wonderful. And I'm super lucky to have them. Wide range of individuals that work there too. So variety of races, gender, ages, education levels. Super cool to like see all that. Like prior to my life here at Stones, which has only been almost 2 years, I was a nurse for 8 years. So, highly educated folks, there's a bit of a trend or a bit of a mix in healthcare too, but, a very professional atmosphere. And then work in the corporate world, of course, different kind of ball game, shirts and ties and suits and all that kind of stuff, big presentations and whatnot. And this is like such a departure from both of those, but like a lovely departure, like a wonderful salt of the earth, like just like a beautiful experience to like be with such a wide variety of people and learn from them, grow from them, but like also have an opportunity to teach them and for them to learn and grow from me or from each other. So if you haven't gotten a sense in the last 2 minutes, it's been incredibly rewarding in the first 2 years. Let me say a couple more words and then I'll turn it over to everybody. So quick rundown of things we've done. We've rebranded the business. We've removed the bulletproof glass. We've commissioned art for the outsides of the walls. We've of course cleaned the place. I talked about the prices on every product in the store. You can buy anything online. Inventory syncs between what you buy in the store and what's sold online. We deliver all over the city. Literally, it's down into the, what's the place in South Philly? The Navy Yard. It's in the Navy Yard now. We can deliver to the Navy Yard now. The only thing we spare is like deep or like far Northeast Philly. We've partnered with several businesses. So we have small business collabs that we run every month. We look at other businesses on Fairmont Ave and we try to do a group coupon. We've been doing that for a little while. We're a pickup location for Philly Mini Donuts, which is based right in Francisville. We currently do all of third-party logistics for Milk John, also a Fairmont business. If you haven't had the ice cream from Milk John, my goodness, please, I'm begging you. It's like out of this world. They'll eventually have a scoop shop, I'm sure. But for now, every Milk John order, literally we distribute or you pick up at Stones. We do work with Jezebel's Cafe from West Philly. They do like Thanksgiving meal pickups at the store. We're always open. So it's a great store for people to like, for other businesses to have like, have people pick up my products at your store. Cause like we are open 7 days a week. We close 3 days a year. Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, New Year's Day. And we're open 10 to 8 or 9 every day. So that's been super cool. We run raffles on lots of cool products we have. We have a secret selection on our newsletter where super exclusive beers we reward our newsletters subscribers with. Only they can buy it. Password protected websites, pretty cool. We are literally on almost every social media platform and doing our best to like communicate and reach out to everybody there. You can even message the store on Facebook Messenger at any time. And like one of our staff will write you back and say, yes, we have that in stock. No, we don't. We are a monthly donor to Legacy of Hope, which is a Fairmont-based nonprofit. I'll spare you all the details about that. We can look that up. It's on the website. We've donated to about half a dozen, maybe 8 different either campaigns, local schools, or like other business kind of events or nonprofits over our first 2 years. I don't know. We're just like rooted here. This is an amazing store to own. We're super grateful and lucky to have it. And we're like busting our ass to like make it truly the best beer store in the city. All of our sales reps, even though like they're supposed to just like feed my ego, which doesn't need any feeding, but like they are literally telling us like we're doing a lot of stuff that's very different than other stores. So the bar has been set relatively low for Philadelphia beer distributors. And I think like we're slowly just like working our best to raise it. And our team has like been amazing at making that happen. So that's kind of the spiel. Why don't I just stop there? I've been chatting for a while, so I can open it up.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's been such a huge upgrade from cool. what it was the past years. Great job.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, and I've gotten drizzly orders from you in like like way too fast. Like
Oh, sweet.
here in like 20 minutes. Like take me longer to walk there and bring it back.
Appreciate it. Well, start ordering through the website. You'll save me 10%.
Okay.
And you can select from the entire store on the website. Drizzly gives us like Drizzly for you, for those of you who don't know, is a third-party delivery system. It's like, it's like DoorDash for food.
Yeah.
But they have like 25% of our products on the site. But our website, stonesphilly.com, has literally everything in the store. But thank you for the notes. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing, man?
Good, brother.
So, yeah, I'm going to just echo what Joe said. You guys have done an incredible job. Everything that you've done to make the store better over the past couple of years, from the labels, so I can tell the ABUs on the beer, to the pricing, to the way you just have the shelves organized now, so it's easier to walk around, is just an amazing turnaround. And like you said, it's still a warehouse, but it's not like any other beer warehouse, even any of the ones in this area that you're the go-to.
Thanks.
So that's great. I do have a question for you. You were talking about ordering online, and I know you updated the website, but can you do like order online, pick it up in the store kind of thing? Is that?
Yep. Yeah. So
that
at checkout, you can either choose delivery or you can just buy it and pick it up.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Good to see you.
Thank you again, man. Good to see you.
Hey everyone, this is my first meeting. I live actually right behind Stones, and I feel lucky to live so close because I moved here with my wife a year and change ago, a year and a couple months. So we've pretty much not really known life too much, but without Stones. So I can't speak too much to the upgrade, but I do really enjoy it. I love beer. I love craft beer, and I think you guys really have a great selection, and I think that's really commendable. I love the rack and the shelf in the front that kind of just narrows it down, because sometimes it's a little overwhelming for me to pick beer. It's like there's a million options and I don't really know a lot of the brands.
Yeah.
But I like that it kind of narrows it down for me a little bit, so makes it easier for me to find new things and try new stuff. I also have gone to Yoga Habit. I haven't since the pandemic. I don't know what you guys have been doing. I fell off a little bit on my yoga game. I actually used to go there before I moved here on a recommendation from somebody. And then actually since I moved here, haven't been able to go back because of COVID pretty much.
Yeah. Yoga Habit's back open now with 10 people in the class.
Great.
So everybody's 6 inches, 6 feet away from each other, like in a radius. So front, back, sides, everyone's 6 feet away, and they're masked. So you can practice now.
Yeah, I do.
We can practice online too. All the classes are streamed now too.
Cool. That's really great to hear. Yeah, I was lucky enough to get the vaccine because I work in healthcare, so I feel more comfortable with getting out of my shell again. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Hey, Nick. You might have seen me. I'm the guy who rides my bike right in the store, right through the front door. And
I think I've encouraged that, right? Please bring your bike in.
Yeah, and that's what's so great. You're welcoming about that. Some people businesses might take offense to that, but
Sure.
I've been doing it since two owners ago.
Okay, cool.
Two owners ago, and I just wanted I remember 2 owners ago, there used to be long lines like there are now,
Yeah.
and then when the couple took it over, I think business really dropped off. You just really could see it, it was, kind of crickets in the place. And I always thought, boy, this would be, if I were to buy a business, and I'm not a businessman, so it would never happen, but if I were to buy a business, this is the business I would buy, because the things that I could do that they should be doing.
Yeah.
And I kind of always wanted to give them suggestions, but I didn't want to be nosy and a know-it-all. But
Yeah.
so, I kept my mouth shut. But I one of the things that I would think that I just would be, I'd be like, there's you'd have to be crazy to buy a beer distributor in Pennsylvania because of these case laws.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, how much of a game changer was that? Were the case laws already rescinded when you bought it? And tell me about that.
Yeah, it was 2016. Just to remind everybody, before 2016, in a beer distributor in Philadelphia, or in Pennsylvania, excuse me, you couldn't buy anything less than a case of beer. So there were no six packs, there were no singles. But then once that law was passed, it was essentially, it allowed beer stores like ours, beer distributors like ours, to break it down to any size. So you could sell a single to a six pack to a 12 pack and you name it, because they also let groceries sell beer. So letting groceries sell beer in smaller quantities, but killing off the beer distributor industry, like, you know, the beer distributor lobby, like obviously didn't, you know, fought for us to be able to do that. Complete game changer. I mean, I haven't bought it. I own a beer, so I haven't bought a full case of just the same beer in years. I mean, literally our singles fridge is the fridge that 50% of our traffic goes to. People go to the singles fridge and they mix and match their six pack. I mean, it's a no brainer for us to be able to sell smaller packages. People want variety. You want to try different things. You know, it's funny that you brought that up though. Like the previous owners, it took them 2 years to adjust to the law, right? So they didn't get a fridge. They didn't get a six pack fridge in there. The fridge that's in to the right until 2018. The law was passed in 16. I mean, it just left so much money on the table.
Yeah.
However, I mean, they were very nice people, but they also kept all the money for themselves. So they didn't really care. Like there was no other, they had 2 employees.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know, this is the business that they run. So once they got that in, I mean, that obviously changed their business a lot. And for us, we want to get it down to make it as easy for anybody to buy a single can or bottle. So we have everything in there from $1.50 beers, like from a 6-pack that broke and I can't sell 5 of them, $1.50, to, you know, a single bottle around Christmas times, it's like $35. You know, it's like this wide range of, you know, you name it, you can probably find it in there. So yeah, that law is just, you know, a game changer. And then they just passed a new one 2 Sundays ago that we can sell this version of wine now. Wine that's at 8% or less can be sold in stores like ours. So I don't know too many wines that are 8%, but they're selling us some for us to sell. So we think that that's just kind of like a signal that eventually stores like ours will be able to sell wine. It's kind of like, you know,
yeah,
we're going to slowly roll that out, which would be great because sometimes going to the wine and spirits on Fairmont Ave is like really painful.
Yeah, it's like stepping into the USSR or something.
Yeah, it's tough.
Hey, one thing before I go, and sorry to interrupt, to take the spotlight here, but who here remembers the old beer distributor that was also on the corner of Fairmount and Corinthian, where Hickory Lane is?
I've heard of that. I've just a couple of people have told me about it. I was never here for it.
It's weird. So back in the day, there was a beer distributor there, but Stone's also existed, you know, a few blocks down. So it was always weird.
It is odd.
Yeah.
I mean, now the PLCB generally like frowns against that, and most community groups would be like, we don't need 2 beer stores here. It's like, we do enough to just like keep our outside clean. It's like all you need is like 1 beer store that doesn't really care, and like all of a sudden it's like, I totally get why community groups would be like, no, we don't want beer here, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Thanks for the questions, man.
You're welcome.
Jen, you're on mute.
I wasn't talking actually. I was just fidgeting probably.
No, I think Jen was trying to talk.
Sorry, I heard Ben.
So I was just gonna say, Nick, thanks for being such a great part of the community, resident, business owner. It's really cool to see entrepreneurs, you know, join the Francisville community, and you know, I think everyone's kind of expressed their love for Stones. I love that you carry Milk John. You know, I walked in there to pick up some the other day and ended up walking out with a bunch of beer too. So I think that's the point. And we're just glad to have you in the community.
Me too, Jen.
What's that?
I did too. That rack at the front, it really sold me, Nick. I was just gonna come in and pick up my ice cream.
I was like,
all part of the master plan, right? Get them in with the ice cream. Thanks.
But yeah, it's awesome that you deliver so far. I had no idea. So I actually, my day job is working at the Navy Yard, and had no idea that, Stones delivers. Because sometimes we have like, before COVID, impromptu celebrations and just kind of need like some beer. And there's like one distributor that we have to drive to, and, someone doesn't always have a car. So it's just good to know that you offer those services as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. It was great talking with you all.
Yeah. And, there's still a couple minutes left if anyone else had any questions for Nick. Very cool. And then I think, eventually, Nick, we're going to have Yoga Habit come in as our community spotlight too.
Yeah, Amanda did ask. She emailed both Jenna and I. And, Yoga Habit's just, we were very fortunate, Jenna and I. I mean, we couldn't have planned it, right? I mean, we didn't buy a beer store because it's the opposite of like yoga. We just bought it because there was an opportunity. But COVID completely decimated Yoga Habit, right? Like, we're lucky we had beer. We were lucky we had Stones. I didn't have a job anymore. That was my job. And, for COVID, from a COVID point of view, we were super fortunate that we were deemed an essential business. And, people were at home and we're all stressed. So people were drinking beer. Our staff went up to 31 during COVID. We had to hire those 4 photographers I talked about. We had to hire 4 drivers and then people to pick beer for the deliveries. So we were really lucky to be able to have a business that supported our other business during that time. So Yoga Habit, that's a long story to say. Amanda asked both Jen and I, but Yoga Habit's just not in the right spot quite yet. We're still really, Jen, I shouldn't say I don't do anything over there except practice yoga. And Jen doesn't do much of the beer store, but she's really just trying to like get it back on its feet. So yes, in time for sure, she would love to pop on and tell you all about it. It's really fantastic for anybody that's been skeptical about yoga in the group. Yoga Habit's it's fantastic, not just because like I'm one of the owners, but it's incredibly welcoming, and it's yoga that just feels like community. It feels like this. It's like your neighbors are in there, you're sweating next to each other, you're like laughing, you're having a good time, you're like feeling you're just feeling lovely when you leave. You go grab a drink at Huga afterwards. It's like, I don't know. It's such a wonderful experience, even if you've never done yoga. So I encourage everybody to give it a shot if you can.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nick. And one last question for you. How do we sign up for that newsletter that you referenced?
Yeah, so there's a spot right on the homepage. If you go to stonesphilly.com, you can just scroll down. It's right on the homepage. It just says newsletter. You also, if you're on Instagram, the link in our bio is a link to what's called a flow page. You guys probably have seen some of it. It's essentially just like, it's a website that'll pop up on your phone that just has all like the hot buttons that you would find on a website. Like the first link is like sign up for our newsletter. The second link is order delivery. It's like you don't have to cruise around the website to find it. So you can either go to Instagram and click on the link in our bio, or you can just go to the website, stonesphilly.com. The newsletter comes out every Friday. It's only about the new beer that we have and like one thing that we promote, which would be like, hey, we were raffled this weekend, or hey, there's a beer tasting. We don't hit you with like mess. So it's really just about the beer. So we'll say like, hey, 30 new beers, and here they are. Cool thing about that is like people walk around the store with their phone, like cruising the newsletter because they're like looking for the beer that's in it, which is for us like incredibly rewarding because we're like, oh wow, people are reading this newsletter and they like want to find this beer. So yeah, easiest 2 ways, Instagram and then on the website.
Cool. Thank you so much.
You got it.
All right. Thank you so much, Nick, for joining us tonight for our community spotlight. We love having you in the neighborhood, and feel free to stick on or jump off if you have to. Okay, cool. All right. Well, that was awesome. Nice to hear from the Stones. So I think next up on our agenda, Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the committee updates, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. I am the chair of the Marketing and Events Committee, and I'm going to turn it over to Chase and Ashley. I'm not sure that we have many updates to share with the community this month, but if any, Chase and Ashley will have that info for everybody.
Yeah, honestly, we don't have a whole lot, just that we are working a whole lot on some website additions, changes, updates. We're really excited about those. We've been working really hard on those and just finding ways to make information not only about our meetings more accessible, but also just resources about the community, and kind of just additional resources that people can then access a little bit easier, all in one space, kind of like a one-stop shop for Francisville is really the way that we see it, I think. I don't know if I can just coin that term right now, but yeah, so that's the main thing for us, quite frankly, and we're excited to kind of get it off the ground at some point coming up soon here.
Great, thanks, Ashley. And then I think with that, I'll let everyone jump in and give their committee updates too.
Sure, Jen, I can go next from a fundraising and sponsorship committee standpoint. Just first off, I just wanted to thank Nick and Stones. He was talking about donations to other nonprofits, but was humble enough not to mention that he helped us out with the business sponsorship, and we really do appreciate that, and it's helping us get to our budget that we need to make this organization successful and sustainable. So thanks again for that. Just as an update from last month, we talked about a donation drive where we had a matching kind of mechanism. So I just wanted to update everyone on that. Unfortunately, there was issues with the link in the first email that we sent. So hopefully people saw the second email. And we're going to follow up this meeting just as a reminder again after this. So we had a budget, kind of a stretch budget for us for $3,000 for the year. And we're about, with the match, about 40 to 50% of the way there. So we still have a little bit of work to do. Hopefully we'll reach out to some other businesses and those on this call. And I see a lot of names on here that have already helped us out, so we really appreciate that. So just going to keep everyone up to date on that with an email after this call, and the link will be in there. And if anybody has any questions on the budget and what we want to do this year, what we the expectations that we want to get from those donations, happy to chat through that. And also on the email that we provided, just our historical spend, just so you know where those dollars are going and where they can be expected to go in the next year. So really appreciate that, and we're thankful that we can keep this organization going. So thanks again. Amanda, I guess I'll pass it over to you. Or any questions?
Yes, I had a question. Are the dates being extended for the match then a bit?
Yeah, they will be. So I have to nail down the date with the matcher, I guess you would say, but I think we'll have that extended just so we can keep that going as motivation. So appreciate that. Any other questions now? Okay, kick it off to Amanda then. Go ahead.
Chris, is it possible to put the link to the donation page in the chat? If not, we'll just definitely, as you mentioned, follow up with everyone with an email later this week.
Yeah, I'll find that now, but while Amanda's talking.
Okay, thanks.
Hey guys, I'm Amanda. So I'm also the committee chair of the Outreach and Inclusion Committee. So we haven't really been meeting because we haven't had too many members. We've really been trying to get outreach to make a committee. That was our step one. We have a lot of interest now, and so we're going to have a meeting at the end of this month on February 24th, the last Wednesday of the month at 7:30. If you're interested in joining us, definitely email me at secretary@United-Francisville. Our first kind of initiative is that we heard in a lot of the community meetings when we had other community spotlights, the frustration when workforce housing was being developed, that it was sold to the community, that it was going to be for community members. But then the community members never got notice and weren't ever involved in that application process. And so they felt kind of cut out of that. And in one of our meetings, we were told that that the application process, you can't prioritize people by location, which kind of goes against what Darrell Clark had kind of sold to the community for workforce housing. So our first kind of advocacy effort, since there's more workforce housing in the works, is to see what we can do about that and to advocate that the workforce housing built in the community is prioritized for community members to help keep our community in the community. So we have a few people who are going to kind of help us out with that, but we really need more people and boots on the ground because I don't have time for that and I need a lot more help. But it's a huge, great initiative, and we have some ideas on how we can get that passed, and it would really just keep our community together so people don't get priced out of the community. So if you're interested, definitely email me and come to the meeting. I'll send you the link for the meeting. That will be on the 24th at 7:30.
Thanks, Amanda. And do we have Joshua? And I unfortunately can't see all the people, but I think that's the last.
I'll speak for him.
Okay.
He's still at work. We don't really have a whole lot of updates on the resources front. Also, just kind of want to chime off, that we've been working with the communications and events committee to help with kind of some of the more beefier infrastructure sides of like getting the website update and stuff like that. And then just to remind everyone that we do meet, I believe it is on the first Monday of every month around like 5:30. Around 5:30 for the resources committee. So I can share the link with that too if anyone else would want to get involved in that effort. And then we have Officer Kiefer here as well.
Hey guys, I had to move to a different spot in the district because I couldn't get a single out. I'll make it real quick and fast. In your neighborhood, there's not much going on except for theft from autos right now. We've been having a big trend of theft from autos. People have been going underneath the cars and stealing the catalytic converters out. They're doing that because there's some precious metals, some platinum and other metals in there, and they're selling them in the black market real cheap. So we're asking you guys to spread the word. If you guys see anyone working on the car on the street, please call 911 so we could get there and check out, see what's going on. We have a couple good leads. A couple Cadillac converters were stolen in Fairmount. We got good video off of it, so we're working on that. So, and the other trend is if anybody has a Jeep Wrangler, please tell them put a wheel lock on their spare tire. All through the city, they've been stealing the spare tires off all the Jeeps. But so far in your neighborhood, that's the biggest concern's been going on around there. If anybody has anything, please let me know and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Officer Kiefer. I was actually curious, I know this isn't in your district, but if you had any information or updates to share about that shooting that happened a few weeks ago in Brewery Town, and if that's not, within your jurisdiction, I think that I understand.
It's our sister district, the 22nd district. We do have one in custody, the shooter's in custody. He was actually locked up that night for another incident of a carjacking. With some DNA and good cameras all around the area, we're able to ID him as the shooter of that gentleman, unfortunately. That's all we have for that. He's not given any information on his partner in crime. With that, again, I want to spread the word. Please know your surroundings. And if anyone has a camera system, please register with us or give me an email or shoot me an email and tell me where your cameras are, because that's what really helped us out with all the evidence of him. We got good pictures of him walking around for a couple of hours in that area. But We do have one arrest. We're looking to get another arrest off of that. And that's all I have for that, unfortunately.
Thank you. And then one other question, I hate to bring up more crime, but there was that, I believe it was like a carjacking incident a few weeks ago, or maybe a little over a month ago at this point, near Fairmount Avenue, maybe it was 17th and Fairmount.
17th
on that?
There was an arrest on there. They were two juveniles. They were arrested. We actually caught up to the car that happened in December. We actually caught up to the car up on just past Gerard Ave. They were two juveniles. They were arrested.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys. I keep losing you guys in and out. I'm sorry. It's just this building is not good for any of the cell or the Wi-Fi.
That's okay. Does anybody have any other questions for Officer Kiefer? All right. Thanks for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Hopefully Sue will be all face to face, so it'll be easier than me trying to patch through some internet to get connected with you guys.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Officer Keeper, you mentioned like registering a camera. How does that work? I didn't really get that. I've never heard of that.
The city the police department has a program called SafeCam. If you go on the Philadelphia Police main homepage, it's called SafeCam. And basically what you do is you register your address and your contact information. And that basically tells us that you have a camera in the area and gives us a contact. So if something happens in the area, me or my counterparts could bring up a mapping system in our system, and it'll show up all the cameras, and we could click on it and be able to have your information to contact you and see if it's okay. We could check your videos.
Got it. Thanks.
All righty. And then last but not least, Vivek, do you have any zoning updates to share with the community?
Sorry. No, I do not have any zoning updates outside of the fact that it's a great part of the organization. Everybody should try to be a zoning chair. And I will help anybody who decides to be a zoning chair to continue to keep moving the organization forward.
Well, thank you, Vivek. All right, so that's pretty much the meat of our meeting that was planned on the agenda. I wanted to share that our next community meeting in March, we will have Curry Shack as the community spotlight, and we're also trying to work with Councilmember Clark's office to get him to join our meeting in the next couple of months. No promises on which month it is yet, but whichever works for his schedule, as well as Representative Donna Bullock, who oversees the majority of the Francisville district. So her office is interested in joining us too, and our team is working on getting that scheduled. So that was a quick update on that. And I just wanted to, open it up to the community. We have a bunch of time left in our meeting for just general questions, updates, suggestions, concerns, anything on your mind, really.
Hi, Jan, this is Miguel. Just have a question regarding, I don't know if anyone else have noticed that, within those new constructions places where they have multiple condominiums, they kind of make them to hold one vehicle. But I've been noticing, at least on my street, that they park two vehicles, and half of the car is kind of in the sidewalk. It doesn't really affect me because this happens more up towards Brown Street. But the other day I saw a lady going with the stroller, and she had a difficult time making it, especially with the snow. I don't know how that can be addressed. I should ask this to the officer, but I don't think they respond to that. They just come, they look at it, and they go. And the parking authority, I actually approached the parking authority, and they told me that they cannot do much about it. So we're kind of in limbo with this situation, and I think it was foreseen at the time when this was happening. And I don't know if anyone else has any suggestions or maybe ideas that we can come up with.
That was probably me you saw struggling with the stroller.
Maybe.
Hey, Miguel, this is Steve. So I think if you download the 311 Philly app, you can register an issue with them, and it would probably go through L&I for them to come through and take a look at the cars on the street if they're illegally parked.
Jen,
I'm sorry. I actually did. I call again on that day. I just didn't call the police. I just didn't. I don't feel like we should be overwhelming 911 with calls like these. And obviously, you know, when L&I comes, the car is not there. I think this is more of whenever we have a chance to have these people at the meeting requesting another permit. I think this really should be brought up. I really saw that kind of coming our way when they were developing those properties. And I don't think I was the only one, but I don't know if we should just turn a blind eye to it or maybe look for something, but I don't think this is just gonna go away.
Jen, whatever happened with people becoming like super users for 311 where we get a better response?
I know Darlene was spearheading that effort, and I'm not sure, I can't remember off the top of my head. There were a couple other folks in the community who kind of wanted to be the super user ambassador, and all that was when people would submit things to 311 within like the Francisville boundaries, they could be like routed through like the super user to kind of like help to expedite it. I believe that's the case. So we can check into that and see where we are with the 311 super user for the community. But Miguel, I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, I think when I walk around the neighborhood, it's frustrating to see. I'm not sure what can be done about it besides calling the police, you know, to see if they can come out and ticket it. And oftentimes, rather, you know, more often than not, I think they don't really want to be bothered with it. I think it's a tough situation because, you know, it's really, those spots are zoned for one car, and people are just squeezing two cars in and kind of overlapping into the sidewalk. And, you know, I don't know, besides talking to like the residents at the house, and sometimes they are renters, sometimes they might be owners, you know, I'm not sure what to do. I don't know if anyone else has any ideas.
Well, I mean, I think as a suggestion, again, I remember, you know, early during the stage of all the changes that have happened within Francisville, we brought it up. And I think it kind of, in our area, I think it's almost everything is done. But I think within the next projects that are going to be brought up to the community, it's really important to revisit that situation. I almost took a couple pictures of those vehicles that day, and I just didn't have the time. But I think we should kind of document this and put it up there, you know, when somebody else is saying, hey, by the way, now I want to go through the community and get my driveway, you know, legalized. One of my neighbors was also telling me that because of the size of the sidewalk between garage and garage, it was downsized. His car was actually ticketed, and he has a permit, you know, to stay on the street. But one of those properties, the people that just moved in, they don't recognize anyone in the neighborhood, and you know, they feel offended that this guy has his car kind of going 6 inches into his cutout. And he ended up calling the city, and they did responded to him. So I think there is a disparity, whether we like it or not, on who's making the call.
Yeah, Miguel, and I think that's something, you know, I'd be happy to talk to Officer Kiefer and O'Shea about that too, to see if, you know, there's more that can be done or focus on that, if that's something important to the community.
I think that would be really really good to bring that up to them. Like I said, I just messed up. I think I should have brought it up when he was speaking, but I kind of walked away a little bit from the meeting, so I missed it. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who's concerned about this. Again, it doesn't affect me right now, but like there's a lot more people that I see walking with their strollers, and I don't think that's fair for them to be fighting with these vehicles that are taking the sidewalk. I think the steps are already a problem, like metal sticking out from the steps of the properties, and now these vehicles that should not be there. I think they should be just ticketed, and that's it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll talk to Officer Kiefer and see if he has any suggestions on how to deal with it.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, thanks, Miguel. Everyone's so quiet tonight.
I was thinking, and maybe this is a conversation for another day, maybe particularly with Amanda, but back when the community refrigerators started kind of happening a lot, Mama T and all of them, I looked into it and I really loved the idea of it. I just didn't really have a space to like plug it in, right? And so something that I was thinking about bringing to this group was like, a lot of where I've seen them has been at like business fronts, like but I think that our community is a space where if there was a fridge, I'd bring the food there, right? But I think it's just about like where that would end up. And so just throwing that out there, that's something that I was thinking about and wondering if we could approach some local businesses on that matter, or approach, maybe Penny's lot, right? Or something like that, because there's space. It's just like, I don't think it's really going to work. Like plugging into through somebody's home is a lot more complicated.
Nick,
So
you want
don't
a
know where to go with
community
that.
fridge?
Yeah, can you tell me more? Can you tell me more about it?
Oh, yeah.
I heard about it. Because I heard Triple Bottom's doing it, which is one of the breweries that we follow. So Tess is the owner there. She lives in Fairmount. We have an enormous keg fridge that's not full of kegs right now because who's having parties? So we don't have like a fridge where anyone can just come in and just like open it themselves. But like we have a fridge that could hold food. But I don't know too much about it. Can you tell me more?
Yeah, so I know of one organization. I believe that there's a second one too. Amanda, is there one beyond Mama T's that you've seen?
Spot Burger does it.
Okay. So, and basically what these organizations do is they raise money, or the community raises money to buy a refrigerator, and then they have it plugged in basically somewhere on the sidewalk, somewhere accessible. Usually it's outside every time that I've seen it. I don't know if anyone's seen one indoors. I'm not sure what Triple Bottom is doing.
I don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah, I've always seen them outdoors, and basically what it is just that, a community fridge where members of the community come and bring produce when they're on their way home from stopping at Tila's for for their produce, dropping off, a bag of lettuce or this or that. I've seen ones that do it for canned foods as well, right? But I think the idea is more fresh items, because people who are food insecure like have, they're getting from other food spaces like the canned and the box stuff, but it doesn't really add nutritional value. So the idea is more fresh produce, and like no questions asked, that if you're, just come and take what you need. And that's the whole idea of it, and that the community kind of supports it, and make sure that food is going in, and that it's being cleaned out too, right? If there's something left over and that it's old and moldy, I guess would be part of the responsibility of taking it on. But yeah.
Gotcha. Would that, so I'm totally open to that. I think it's a fantastic idea. And 2021, we're like trying to do more, obviously more community-based things. We've just only gotten our feet wet so far. Would it be, like, I'm thinking of our store, I'm thinking like 17th Street sidewalk and then like Fairmount Ave sidewalk. Visually, it feels odd to me just to have a fridge there, but maybe like the oddity doesn't matter. It's the point of like having the fridge available. Does it need to be available at all times?
I believe
like,
most.
We're open. I mean, we're open a lot, and we do have that fenced in area. Like, we could easily like slide a fridge next to our freezer, and it could be available, 10 to a certain time. Whereas like, is that not really in the spirit? Like the spirit is like 1 a.m. you need food, you go to the fridge, you can get it.
Chris, you unmuted yourself. I'll let you
Oh,
go.
yes, Spot Burgers is inside, so I was just gonna say that. So I don't know their model, but yeah, theirs is inside.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm sure that people are doing it differently in different spaces. Most of what I've seen is pretty accessible, but I mean, we work with the space that we have, right? And it's really just about making sure that people know about it, I think. And so what they do is, it's really cute. They like paint it, and it's like, so all over you see that this is a refrigerator, not for beer, right? Not for whatever else, that this is a community fridge and it's take what you need, no, you know, no questions asked. So they're like bright yellow most of the time to just like really catch your eye. So
I'm totally
yeah,
open.
I don't see a problem with it being inside of there. I think that we'd probably have to talk to, if we went through someplace like Mama T's or something, who again kind of helps get the fridges out to people and spread the word a little bit more, then maybe they have some rules and guidelines around things. But if we're doing one on our own too, I mean, we create the rules, really.
I posted an article in the chat where it has like a list. It's just from a couple months ago, but it has a list of all the community fridges. But I mean, the guy that owns Spot Burger is freaking awesome. And so I think that makes sense too. It's better than nothing. It's like you drop off stuff that's like you don't want anymore, and then other people can have it. It's like a buy nothing for food, and then anyone who's hungry can access it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jen knows all about buy nothing.
I don't know if you guys can hear me well. My phone dropped off, but yeah, I think the beauty of it is, you know, it's kind of just, if someone can supply, if we can get a fridge somewhere and someone can supply the electricity and the spot to host the fridge, you know, it's kind of a self-sufficient thing. You know, hopefully the community comes together and keeps it kind of full. But like I would say, like, Nick, if you're able to host it, I think that'd be amazing. And obviously no pressure, but you know, definitely don't feel obligated to keep it full of stuff. You know, I think that's where the community comes together and donates things to keep it running.
Sure, yeah, you can definitely email me about it and talk to me about the logistics.
Cool.
We
Ashley, I think that's a great idea.
One refrigerator's electricity added to like the amount of refrigeration we already have is, I mean, it's like nothing. So yeah, and it'd be super cool. It'd be super cool for the community, and yeah, happy to do it.
That's awesome. Great idea, Ashley. Thanks, Nick.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, thanks, Nick. That's awesome. Thanks for, and yeah, no pressure. You don't need to make a decision right now, but like, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's like some huge red flag in like the logistics or the rules that somehow precludes us from doing it, then otherwise, like, I feel like it's a no-brainer.
That was easy. I wish change could happen that easily for everything.
Right? Oh my God.
All right. Does anybody have anything else tonight? I love a productive short meeting. Everyone can have a little bit of their night back.
I do have one thing to add.
All
I
right.
saw on Instagram that Your Fave Trash Man will be doing a street cleanup right across the street from the Civic, across Girard. There's some odd building there. I forget what it is. It has like a ramp that kind of goes up into it. So apparently there's a ton of trash right there right now. And Your Fave Trash Man was like, I want to go clean this up, and I hope you help me. And so it's at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. So if you have nothing to do, there's that.
Cool. Thanks, Jace.
Can you, is it Ya Fave Trash Man? Like YA?
Yeah, I think it's Ya, like YA.
Cool. That's a cool concept. I mean, Amanda and we can talk for hours about the trash on just our little block. So I'm sure anybody in Francisville can do the same. So that's pretty cool.
FNDC has been cleaning our block. I don't know if you know that, Nick.
I've noticed.
I saw them too on ours.
Yeah.
I've noticed. Yeah. Different.
There's never enough cleanups though. We could always have more cleanups.
Yeah. That's something I would love to do. You know, I'm a wimp. I hate the winter, so going out there right now is not my cup of tea. But I think once things start to get a little warmer, I know that I've seen on Nextdoor that the Fairmont Hardware Store, they've offered to donate some supplies for any neighborhood cleanups to happen. So I think you can percolate on that idea and think about it, and you know, come back in the spring and lean on them for some supplies to do some community cleanups. I think that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, Jen, the city block or the block captain, whatever, block captain program, also like the city will give you funding, like a small amount, but some money to put toward, you know, things to do cleanups and things like that.
I don't know if they give you money directly. I think they'll.
Oh, they'll give you the supplies.
I haven't completed it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they give you some supplies as well.
Yeah, maybe the supplies, not the money, but you know what I meant. But that's something else too, is just like, I think it'd be really interesting if we do want to be able to, I know there are some block captains, but I think it'd be cool for UFCA to like almost have like a tree effect with it, like being able to loop in block captains to then for them to spread word of doing cleanups and things like that to their own streets, right? So just food for thought for a future time. I won't take up any time on that.
Cool.
That is interesting. Do we know of anybody who's a block captain right now? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know our block captain.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I think it is public if they're an official block captain. I think there is a way to kind of pull that. There's like a whole block captain program thing through the city.
Just trying to be our block captain, which is why we know this stuff.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So help me out. I think the next meeting is also March 10th, since February is a short month. So it's the second Wednesday of every month at 6:30. We always meet. Same time, same place. So we'll see you guys March 10th at 6:30. Again, Curry Shack will be the community spotlight, and then we're working with some of our elected officials to get them on the calendar in the coming months. So we'll follow up with everyone. Thanks for joining tonight. Nice to see some new faces. Thanks for coming. And we'll send out the meeting minutes. We'll send out reminders about the upcoming election for zoning chair and vice president. And then Treasurer will also send out information about the fundraising with the match that will happen for another week or two. So we appreciate you joining us tonight, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.